Today I'm sharing with you 7 beginner-friendly products that you can sell online to replace a 9-to-5 income. These products can make you over $41,000 a month, and there's a lot of variety here, so there should be something for everyone. I've grown what's now a multi-million-dollar business selling products that follow the same structure as the ones I'm going to show with you today, and it makes a lot more than most 9-to-5s. I've selected beginner-friendly ideas with scaling in mind, so once you're able to make it work on Etsy, you'd be able to scale these same products to 7 or maybe even 8 figures on Shopify if you wanted. So without further ado, let's get right into the first idea, which is selling hats. Now, you might be wondering how hats can make more than your 9-to-5, but I came across this listing here on Etsy, and it's a simple custom hat listing, and they're basically charging you depending what you want to put on the hat. Now, what's interesting is that this single listing is making over $120,000 a year since it was posted a little over 2 years ago. But an even crazier example is this listing. It sells for $25 with another $5 of shipping, and over 42 people have bought this listing in the last 24 hours. That's over $1,200 in one day. And this listing is just over 1 year old. The shop selling this listing has built an entire shop around selling hats, and Listing View shows us that over the last year and a half, they've been quite successful doing so. We could sell essentially the same exact vintage embroidered hat using a supplier like Printify. Now, their product costs about $17 with $5 of shipping, which means we'd be left with about a $9 profit per sale. The quick math on all this means that with 28,000 sales over the last year and a half, they could be making around $180,000 of profit per year, and they might not even have to embroider and ship the hats themselves if they're using a supplier like Printify. Now, of course, if you wanted, you could buy an embroidery machine like this one on Amazon. It runs you about $400 so that you could actually embroider the items yourself. But to me, the laptop lifestyle is totally worth it when you have Printify embroider the hats and ship them directly to the customer for you. Not to mention with Printify, you only pay for the hat after you've already made a sale, which means your upfront costs are as low as possible. This shop is also extremely simple, and they've been able to make their 28,000 sales from only 10 listings. And it looks like only 2 of those listings are pre-made hats and the rest of them are just custom options. Sure, this is a little less passive than a pre-made product, but it sells like crazy. This means for your startup costs, you'd have all of the standard fees for opening up an Etsy shop and posting your initial listings, which might come out to around $20, and then you'd need any design tools like Canva to make the custom designs. This particular item is just a custom text design in a font that the customer gets to choose, so there's really no graphic design here. You'd only have a large upfront cost if you wanted to buy the actual embroidery machine and inventory upfront. As far as how difficult this product is to sell, I'd give it a 5 out of 10. There's not as much competition as some of the other products on the list, but you're mostly stuck to selling custom hats like the ones we looked at because there isn't too much demand for pre-made hat designs. And by the way, we're using Etsy as a reference in this video since all of the sales data is public, so we can get a really good idea of the profit that we can make with each product. The next idea on the list, which is honestly a lot more niche, is selling birth flower designs. I came across this product, which is essentially just a digital download artwork of a bouquet of flowers. And the idea here is that the bouquet is made up of different flowers that each represent a month. So I guess the customer just picks which flowers they want included in the bouquet, and for whatever reason, this type of design sells like crazy. This listing has sold over 3,300 times over the last 2 years, and since it's $24, that's almost $80,000 or $40,000 a year. And it's almost all profit since it's a digital product. This pillow is essentially the same thing. They get to choose the flowers that go on the pillow, and then they also get to put a name under each flower. This listing has sold over 11,000 times in the last 2 years, and it makes over $110,000 a year. Now, I understand that the profit potential isn't quite as high with this type of product as it is with some of the other ideas, but what makes this product so unique is how versatile it is. This type of design works super well for the posters and the pillowcases that we looked at, but also for sweatshirts, tote bags, and tumblers. I would start selling this product using a tool like Midjourney to help me make the designs. You can see that the flower for October is a marigold. So I could start by searching Midjourney for other marigold images that have been made. These are graphics that have been generated by other users, but we can use them as inspiration to make our own graphics. I found this graphic that someone else made, and I think it looks pretty good, so I'm going to use it for myself. I can click on their prompt to use it for myself, and then I can also click on this Use Image button to reference the prompt in my own design so that my graphic looks similar to this one. I'll also include their settings so that we get a vertical image, and I'll just hit generate. The cool thing about using AI is we can generate a ton of different versions so that we're not trying to sell the exact same thing as these other shops. There's a ton of different styles that can work well, and you can experiment pretty easily. These are some of the images that I was able to generate, and the cool thing is, once they come out of Midjourney, they're pretty much ready to go. And we can use AI to make a bunch of different types of flower artwork so that we're not all competing on the exact same thing. If you use AI to do the hard part of making the flower graphics, then assembling all the other little details of the listing is fairly straightforward and pretty easy to figure out. If you're selling a digital download version like this seller, then it's obviously just emailed right to the customer. But if you want to sell something like this pillow, which in total sells for around $33, then once again, you can work with a company like Printify, who will allow you to get your designs printed on the pillows and get those pillows shipped straight to the customer for about $18 in total, leaving you with a 50% profit margin. Printify also offers the sweatshirts, tumblers, and the tote bags that already sell really well. And remember, you only pay for the product after you've already made the sale. This means that your startup costs, you obviously have the standard fees, and then if you wanted to use Midjourney to make the flower designs, it's gonna cost you about $10 or 30 cents a day. For difficulty, this one gets a 4 out of 10 because the hardest part is getting the product listed for sale on Etsy, which isn't too difficult to figure out. That brings us to idea number 3, which targets the Etsy demographic almost perfectly, and that's selling wedding downloads. This is a wedding planner, wedding budget tracker template, which essentially just allows you to track your wedding and how much it's going to cost. This is a bit of a newer listing since it was only posted 11 months ago, and with 3,600 sales at $11 each, which means this single listing has made around $40,000 in 11 months. Again, not even counting all of the other listings that they have in their shop. And there's a lot of different angles and styles that you could go with when making a wedding download. There's entire shops built out around selling wedding downloads. Like this one, where they're selling all kinds of wedding related downloads. Now, it looks really confusing at first until you realize that most of these templates are extremely simple. They're some kind of text on a nice looking background, and they've made millions of dollars selling digital downloads just like this. The best part about digital downloads, besides the fact that they're passive, is that it's almost a 90% profit margin on each sale. All of their products are essentially templates, so the user gets to change out all of the text, and to do that, they're using a website like Template. Now, this specific listing actually has a demo version that you can try out, which means you can come in here and kind of play around with how these templates are built out. And this one is literally just 2 text boxes with nice looking fonts, of course, on a terracotta colored background. Of course, you could use the same template website to sell your own templates or something else like Canva. And you either go with a more value forward approach with something like a spreadsheet planner, or the more aesthetic approach with some kind of card template that people can download and use in their wedding. You could use Midjourney here to make some wedding invitation mockups to really bring the designs that you're making to life. For difficulty on this one, I have to give it a 6 out of 10 because while the product is still easy to make, there is a bit more competition in this niche. And since it is a bit more crowded of a niche, you need to do what this shop has done in posting a lot of new listings and having a big listing catalog overall. Remember, since these are all digital templates, they'll be fulfilled automatically, which means they're passive once you get them listed for sale. Besides your standard startup costs, you're looking at maybe $9 a month for the template app or $13 a month if you're going to use Canva. I'm making tutorials on how to sell specific products like this over the coming weeks, so make sure you're subscribed if you're interested in those. The next idea is one of the more profitable on Etsy and a product that I've personally sold, and that's selling hoodies and sweatshirts. Unlike t-shirts, you can make a much higher profit margin selling a sweatshirt or a hoodie. Similar to some of the other custom products we've looked at, this is a custom Comfort Colors sweatshirt that sells for $37 plus another $8 of shipping, which means they make $44 per sale. We can also drop ship this product without ever having to buy inventory or fulfill the orders ourselves. We can get this exact same Comfort Colors sweatshirt printed and shipped to our customer for $31, leaving you with a $13 profit on each sale. Since this listing has sold around 2,700 times just in the last 6 months, that means they made around $35,000 or about $5,800 per month in profit just from having this one listing. You only need a few listings performing this well to make more than most 9-to-5s. We could go for a more passive route, selling a pre-made design like this Ghost Reading, which absolutely kills it during Halloween season. And they're selling a cheaper Gildan sweatshirt, which only costs about $20 to fulfill from Printify, which means they're making about $28, including their shipping costs, or about $8 of profit per sale. 6,300 sales over the last 7 months at $8 profit per order means they've made about $50,000 profit in just 7 months' time. Obviously, not every sweatshirt that you post for sale is going to make you $8,000 a month, but some can, and you only need a few top performing listings to make a comfortable living. And this doesn't even count single listings that are making over $100,000 a month. With a mix of some pre-made designs and custom sweatshirt listings in your shop, I think you'd have a great place to start. I'd try and use Midjourney to make all of the graphics if you didn't know how to already, and I'd post a lot of custom sweatshirts for sale since they sell the best. For difficulty, I give this a 4 out of 10 because although it is a much more competitive product, the profit margin means that even if you sold less sweatshirts, you can still make a comfortable living. But considering how quickly some of these specific listings can blow up, I think that this is easily a 6- and 7-figure shop idea. Of course, it can take posting a lot of listings before something finally sticks, but if you have automation tools like the one that I built called Prelist, it can help you build out a big shop very quickly. As for startup costs, once again, you're just looking at the standard startup costs and then any design tools that you want to use. So Midjourney, Canva, or anything else that you need. I've also got a lot of videos here on my channel for how to make specific designs for products like apparel, so you can check those out after this video if you want. The next idea is one of the all-time best-selling products in all of Etsy, and that's selling custom name jewelry. This is a very simple idea where you're just selling necklaces or some other kind of jewelry. It allows people to customize the pendant with their name. This right here is a bit of a newer listing. You can see that listing view shows us it was posted just over a year ago and it's already made 10,000 sales. And you can see it's pretty hot right now. Here's another example of essentially the exact same thing, just a custom name necklace, except it's only one name instead of a bunch. And it's already done over 1,500 sales in just 4 months. This is such a staple product that one of the biggest shops on all of Etsy that's done over 3.3 million sales, well, this happens to be one of their best-selling products in their shop. There's definitely demand here, but fulfilling this type of product isn't the easiest. So if you've never sold or don't know how to make this type of product, you could try dropshipping it off of a website like AliExpress. They have several options here that aren't too expensive, and some of them even ship from within the US, and they don't look that terrible in my opinion. Temu also offers a very similar product. You can see this one is $4, and then another $13 for the express shipping. But no matter who you're selling from, you would have to order a sample and make sure that the quality is good before you tried selling this on something like Etsy. But looking at the listing, it honestly looks kind of legit. Of course, you would be better off if you were actually able to make the jewelry yourself. That would be the bigger long-term goal, but this could be enough to get you started. This product idea definitely has the highest income potential, but it's also probably the hardest to execute. I've personally never sold this exact item, and selling off of AliExpress can be kind of risky. So for that reason, this gets an 8 out of 10 difficulty score. For startup costs, you obviously have the same standard startup costs, and then any equipment that you need to make the jewelry or any samples that you order up front. Now, idea number 6 is selling kids clothing. This is an OG shop here on Etsy, and they've done over 300,000 sales selling baby and toddler clothing. And what's interesting that Listing View can show us is that even some of their newest listings are already starting to make sales. If you want to sell this type of item, there's a few ways you could do it. You could make a custom listing like this one that's making around $50,000 a year. But a pre-made design like this one can also pop off out of nowhere. Listing View can show us that this product has made around $5,500 just in the last 1 month and 20 days. Once again, of course, you can use Printify so that you don't have to buy and hold inventory up front. They offer everything from baby clothes to sweatshirts, long sleeves, and even t-shirts for kids. Of course, once you scaled up your business on Etsy, if you wanted to take the operations in-house, then you could buy out all of the equipment and store inventory yourself. I don't know why you'd want to do that when you can automate it with Printify, but of course you could. Selling this product only requires the standard startup costs and any design tools you want to use, and I'd give it a 5 out of 10 difficulty. It's a very standard, straightforward product to sell, but if you're like me, it's probably more difficult to build out product listings for kids than a little older age demographic. The next product is one that I recently tried selling for myself, and that's selling custom portraits. I grew this brand new shop just a month and a half ago from complete scratch to over $100 a day in profit selling these custom portraits. Now, that was overall. I think this shop ended up doing about 25 sales in total, and it made over $3,000 in profit in just 2.5 weeks time. So starting from complete scratch, even where it didn't make any sales in the first few days, it picked up steam very quickly, and I had a few days where I made over $400 in profit. Basically, I was just offering these AI generated pet portraits for the customer to send in a photo. Now, when they sent in their photo, I used the Midjourney photo editor to crop out the old pet's head and upload the new customer image to get blended into the image. Even though it was making $100 per day, I did shut the shop down because between my other shops, my YouTube channel, and my software companies, I just didn't have time to fulfill all the orders and handle customer service every day. There's a lot of different ways and art styles that you can sell this type of product, like these white backgrounds, or a more realistic style, or this more silly themed style that I was selling in my custom shop. This type of listing does extremely well. Listing View shows me it's done about 5,000 sales almost in the last 9 months. And since they're selling the digital file for around $21, they're making a great profit. There's a lot of other shops selling this exact same type of product for a lot longer than I did, which just proves it works over time. Plus, considering the fact that you can sell the digital file or a print-on-demand poster or canvas, means you've got a lot of options, and customers are a lot more likely to order from you if you offer those options. Now, in addition to the standard startup costs, you also need the $30 per month Midjourney subscription so that you can use the editor if you're going to use AI to make this product. And that's assuming you're not going to get all fancy and use something like Photoshop as well. This is more like an 8 out of 10 difficulty because it's a harder product to make at first, and to learn how to use Midjourney to make a super high quality image and then edit that image with the customer's photo. And it's even more difficult if you want to learn the whole process using a different tool like Photoshop. The upside is that a custom product like this has a much higher profit margin. Not many other custom products can make you a $60 profit per order. I hope this helps. Subscribe and let me know if you want to see any more specific videos on how to sell any one of these products.